Hi, everybody. Welcome back. All right, then. I just did my tech thing. I just did my little tech thing. I'm Abby Haggard. This is my tiny corner of the world. And I'm joining you today. I realized that I had messed up the numbers of the episodes when I half missed an episode. So if you see the posting of it, it says it's two numbers. It's me trying to remath my math. For those of you who are just joining us, if you are new to this on any of the 5 platforms that we're now using, 5 platforms, I'm a tech person now. If you're new to this, if somebody said you should check this out, or you just saw something in passing and you said, what is that? What is that woman doing? The reason I'm doing these videos, I was on television for a long time ago. Children's television, some of it, grown-up television, some of it, entertainment television, all of it. And the whole purpose in the kinds of shows that I did were to connect people in ways that don't always just automatically happen, to find common ground, to give people something to feel awesome about. And all the shows I was involved in were either bringing colorful, fabulous entertainers into your homes, or it was children's television poking fun at all the things we take far too seriously when we're adults. And the reason this is so important, I think, for all of us, for me certainly, obviously it was my job, is that we are getting trained every day. We are learning new skills every day. We're becoming more aware every day as we practice, as we train to maintain. We're saying, well, how long has that been there? How long have I been leaning that way by mistake? Why didn't anybody say anything? And as we gradually realize what we have been doing, and sometimes we take the time to try and figure out why we've been doing it, it allows us to say, but as I move forward, if I do it this way, and it's just a slight shift, it's not a complete rethink. If I just do it this way, if I just pay attention to this little bit of information, I will understand it better. I will see the cause and effect more clearly and more quickly. And instead of walking around going, why is it doing that? I spent most of my life saying, why is it doing that? Because I'm a military kid. And every 15 minutes, it was a whole new set of rules. And I never got the instruction books. So it was a whole lot of what happens when no, okay, not that. And it has been an attempt, a glitch, a recovery, and a try this my entire life. As a result, I'm good at it. I'm good at looking, rethinking, trying it again, and recovery. And over the years, working with other creative people, I've done a fair amount of coaching. I've been brought into businesses who've said, maybe we need a more creative solution, something a little more out of the box. Abby, you've had some success for quite a long time. Probably then it's not an accident. Good morning, Warren. Good morning. You just moved. Oh my gosh, boxes are us. Breathe between each box that you unpack. That's all I have to say about that. You can't change it. You have to deal with it, but breathe between each one. So the conversation today in episode 367/8 is who is it who always makes you laugh? What is that is guaranteed to touch you where you live and make you come out of whatever you had fallen down into and give you that hand to pull you out and reset? Who is it? Who is it that gives you that lovely, lovely escape? And the reason I want to talk about that is that it is actually the platform that everything else sits on. And I was talking to a very, very astute person the other day who said, social media is a phenomenon that has transformed our lives in a million brilliant ways. However, one significant drawback in the transformation is that in speeding things up, allowing us to accomplish more with fewer clicks or taps or shoves. It also removes the learning curves that we experience when we must do it step by step, slow by slow, tap by tap. And when it removes those learning curve moments, our time to pay attention and say, does that happen all the time? Well, who knew? It gets, well, good morning. Boxes everywhere. Good morning, Freddie. Boxes everywhere. Warren is moving. There are boxes everywhere. That's right. And every time one is empty, you say, there, one is empty. Okay, one down. Let's do this. So in this conversation of who is it that always makes you laugh, not by accident, the one-off, because that happens all the time. Two people will see a thing and see each other see the same thing, and we're laughing at the coincidence, or we're laughing at the synchronicity as much as we are laughing at the event itself. Two strangers at the right place, at the right time, in the right moment, then recognize exactly that. This is one of those things, and we're laughing at that, but we're also going, can you believe it and it's right? And we may never see each other again, but we never forget that moment. We never forget the moment when what we feel and think and believe to be our solitary path turns out not so much. Turns out all along there has been somebody walking along right next to us. Or maybe we just came to an intersection at the same time. After you, no, I insist. And that is really special. That is really exciting. Even back in the day, when you had to pack a horse and pack a wagon and plan to be away for 3 days to go to the store. And it was going to take you this much time to get there and this much time to get back. And so you said goodbye to your loved ones. That's the way it used to be. Now, not so much. Even so, the same thing applies. We bump into situations in which we are staring at something together. Whether it's the first time, the 50,000th time, makes no difference. It is the sudden recognition that we are together that makes us say, cool. And then every next thing, no matter how horrific or fabulous the situation, every next moment is shaded by and shaped by the color of how cool it is that we're not alone. How cool it is that someone has seen it and gives us a nod. You do, yeah, right. It means that we're together. We're not alone. We haven't been abandoned. We're not lost. And if we are lost, we're lost with someone. Two heads, better than one. So in my question asking about this, as I always do in my videos, good morning, Charles. Charles, I saw your message, but I saw it very late because I was on a call, so I wasn't ignoring you. So we can reschedule and have that conversation, okay? I just want you to know. One second. So there have been times in my life when someone I've known for consecutive months, even consecutive years, which is rare in my life, when that person and I have been together in a moment when something astonishing happens. And when we experience it, when we experience the astonishment and the struggle to manage our response to the astonishment, and then we look at each other and we see that they are doing exactly the same thing, their way, through their eyes, with their brain and their heart and their memory bank. But in this moment, we are exactly in sync. Those are memory moments that never, ever go away. Even in older years, when we have trouble remembering why we're in the kitchen, although I have always wondered why I'm in a kitchen, but I digress. They are moments that feel like anchor points. They are moments that feel like rest stops. And when we see the mile marker and when we see the familiar, signs along the road, and we know we're getting close to that moment, we're getting close to that place where we can step out of the spinning wheel and take a breath. We can also completely relive how fabulous it was the first time. My brilliant child in the fame book, who said his definition of fame was that it was an echo. He said, we never buy a concert ticket for this concert. I mean, we are buying it for this concert. We did buy a ticket to go on the 23rd. Yes. But our reason to buy it is not for this one. We are buying it to relive, to reinvent, to reinvest in the last time, in all the magic moments that took place the last time. We are finding a way, we're looking at the map and we're saying, in 5 more steps, in 3 more days, I get to relive everything that I treasure still to this day. For him, that was the defining umbrella of fame. It becomes famous in our hearts because it stands out. So are the people famous? Is the moment famous? Is our memory famous? All of it. All of it is famous to us because it is exceptional. It stands out. And when we say to the person we were either going there with or we met there, do you remember? And they say, right? And now the two of us are right back in that moment. Now, what happens? The reason this is so incredibly powerful and so much fun is that when we remember, you're walking down the street, you suddenly smell fresh bread, fresh baked something, or you're walking by a pizza place and you smell all of the garlicky, lovely smells, and you stop and you salivate and you check your watch to see if you have time. And can you come up with a reason why you should have a pizza right now, or a donut, or a slice of bread right now? Because we have been transported instantly back to that last time. Every time I'm not feeling well, I'm instantly thinking about the tomato soup and the grilled cheese sandwich that my mom used to make. Every time. And I instantly have a craving for tomato soup and a grilled cheese sandwich, even if I'm fine. What I'm seeking is that happy anchor point. So today, in these todays, when there are so many people not okay, we are needing more of those happy injections. We are needing more connection to, heading back to, hugging the last ones, hugging the ones that really put it over the top. And I was talking to Carol Hay this morning, and we were we were sharing a moment that had happened at a fan event quite a few years ago, when she said, "Why aren't you doing that?" And I said, "Well, I tried to do that, but they won't do it. I asked and they won't do it." And she said, "Give me that. I will ask them to do it. I will ask them in that way that I have." And she walked over, and I'm standing there watching this. And she, persuasively and beautifully presented her case. And the person did to her what they had previously done to me, which was no. And from the back, I saw Carol's head. And so she appeared to assume they just hadn't understood her. And so she presented it again. And again, the person went, "Huh." Carol turned. So the first part was funny because it validated me. The second part was funny because it validated me. But then the third part, she turned around and she went, that slayed me because yes, exactly. What? 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 She didn't go that big, but that's what it was. It was just like, so then when she came back, I have this lunch and I'm laughing. And she said, I said, I know, I tried to tell you. So that was, I don't know how many years ago, but we talked about it this morning. And the two of us were laughing. And it led into something else that had happened that I was saying. So, you know, those moments when? And she said, yes. I said, I had one. Would you like me to tell you? Yes. So I told her, and we laughed at it. And she said, which reminds me of the time. And now we married the previous one, the many years ago one, with this one. Because why do we do that? We do that because it feels so good in the middle of everything else to steal away, to hold for ourselves this delicious moment when we are completely connected now, and our inner children are connected at the same exact time. We are time travelers in that moment. We are transmogrifying, and it's delicious. And what it does that is so important, which is why I'm asking the question, think about, who is it? Who are they? And the reason I want you to pause and say, who always makes me, oh, so and so, good. Make a note of it. Write it down. Just write down their name. You don't have to remember who they are. You know who they are. You'll never forget who they are. Why am I asking you to write it down? I'm asking you to write it down because when this video is over, or even now while you're watching, text them, message them, and say, thinking about you, send. Why am I asking you to do that? Because the minute they see your name, all of the previous feel goods ignite. Whatever color their energy was, whatever shape their mood was, it's an instant moment of complete reset that your back of brain does. It's like, you know, it's like a spinning wheel, and it goes and it places us, me and thee, at the top, at the forefront. And just by looking at your name, all of those things immediately come back. And I'm smiling. I'm transported. I'm 3 inches taller and 10 pounds lighter. The same way people are when they come into my booth at my live events. They come in one mindset, in one energy, and after I'm done with them, they've got a whole new thing going on. I have pulled them out of their distraction. I've pulled them out of their exhaustion. I've pulled them into mine. I'm in proximity, so it rubs off. That's why I say Viking DNA is airborne. There is something that transmits, and we are in that moment completely connected. We are no longer solitary. We no longer feel solitary. We always are connected. Our little molecules are always dancing and bumping into each other and saying, oh, pardon me, my bad. And you know, when you get on an elevator and you can tell that people were arguing, or you can tell that people were not arguing, you can tell that something was going on because the residual, the ripples, the invisible energy waves are still there. They haven't dissipated. You step into it, you can feel the negativity, you can feel the stress, and you can feel the warmth, and you can feel the mischief and the magic and the passion. You just don't know what it is. And if we get on an elevator and we don't know the people, we don't look them in the eye and say, so what's going on? We don't do that. If we do know them, we still might not do it, depending on the expression on their faces, because they're private moments. If they want to share, they will. So when we're walking through our day, when we're, in a shopping plaza, when we're on a busy street, when we're coming from here and going to there, it doesn't feel like we are connected. We are not focused on here we all are together. We're focused on I'm here and I need to be there because I'm doing this. And it feels solitary. And if a lot of what we're doing feels like negative, anxious making, frustrating, loss of control solitary, it's not a good place to be. It's an unhappy, exhausting place to be. And I had an issue this morning, technical issue here, in the building. And the person came to take care of it. And lots of stuff going on, no time for really real conversation. But in the correction of the problem, brief moment, I deliberately stopped moving. They deliberately stopped moving. They said, all good? And I said, yes, thank you. You're welcome. And then moved on. They didn't continue walking, not looking and say, all good. They took the moment, they turned, they connected, asked the question, waited for the answer. I gave it. We both went like this. So powerful. So powerful, that split second, complete connection, complete focus, complete respecting our mutual human need to know that we're seen and heard and valued. And it takes just that much pause. All good? Yes. Gone. The difference takes the same amount of time to do it on the dead run without turning and looking. Same amount of time. The difference, exponential. So the question today and the conversation today is, who is it? Who is the one in your life that always makes you connect, laugh, awaken, cherish, savor the previous connection and the continuing connection? And I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm going to tell you a secret about identifying who it is. Hang on a second. That person who does that for you, you are that person who does it for them. In those moments, in our relationships, we are mirror images of each other. We may not have a lot of other things in common. We may have very busy, not so busy, very high tech, very back to nature. We have many, many, many differences in our lives that mean that we are more casual than connected in our relationship to each other. That doesn't matter. What matters is when I look in their eyes and they look in my eyes, we both know one thing for certain. In the way the eyes connect and the memory shared comes alive, is that this is real. This is not transactional. This is not agenda driven. This is not something temporary. This is not fake. This is not something that leaves us diminished. This is not someone looking to control or take. It's not even someone looking to give or serve. It is that middle side. When somebody asked the question the other day, how many sides on a coin? And I said 3. Yep. The one that faces up, the one that faces down and back, and the third one is the side we spin on. We allow ourselves to spin. We also allow ourselves to spin in the good direction or the negative direction. We allow ourselves to spin out of control and into anxiety, or we allow ourselves to spin out of anxiety into ownership. Either way, coin spins either way. It's our choice. So when we have these absolute connection moments, even though typically, no matter how close we are, we still cannot see the world from identically exactly the same point of view as anybody else, even a pure identical twin, because we are 1 degree difference, always 1 degree. It is when we share our recognition that we are imperfect, that we are a work in progress, and that we understand that the 1 degree is up to us to bridge. How we do this is by remembering how awesome it was the last time. I don't have time for this. Yes, you do. We all do. When we laugh that way, when we see a thing that way, when we share a common, what was that? We are forever connected. Like soldiers together on the front lines, seeing things we never thought we would see. Together we remember. It's vivid, unlike all the other things that are much less vivid. And why this matters so much is because that we see them, that they see us, shows us where we are, shows us who we are, shows us how we live. It is our anchor points. It is our tent pegs. It is our instruction booklet that says, snip the red wire after you snip the black one. Oh! It is recognition. It is reward. And when we bring it back over and over and over again through the years, it becomes renown. And that 3-part step. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning. Oh, be safe, Charles. Be safe. Yes, next week sounds very good, Charles. So when we understand that recognition, reward, and renown are also one of the very valid definitions of fame, then we have the opportunity to understand something remarkable. And it's a very old expression. I think my grandmother told it to me. And the expression is this: we get along famously. Oh, they get along famously. It doesn't mean they get along like 2 celebrities. It means that the getting along is layered. It means that when we get along, how we connect, what that delivers is recognition, reward, tangible reward, and renown. It means that we are a lasting influence on someone, equally as they are on us. So another story I want to tell you. I've told it before. And it's one of those things that makes you say, I'm so glad I've told that story. I had a humiliating experience, remarkably humiliating experience. And I shared it with a friend. And and we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and wiped up all the coffee and tea and soda that we had spat all over our keyboards. And every so often, it was an incident that had to do with a dress that I tried on, found it was perfect, cost me 3 months rent. I didn't care. I paid it. And as I left the store, I felt like $1 million, and I was rather grand. People were waving at me, and I thought, you see, it's the dress. I have become a whole other person. Here I am. And I waved back in that way that I have. And I'm down the escalator, across, and people were constantly, and I'm waving back, right? And I go outside, and oh my God, there on the sidewalk is a fellow that I had this massive crush on in college. He was one of those big men on campus. You know, this is my good side. This is my other good side. And he stopped and he said, "Oh my God, Abby." And I thought, oh my God, he remembers my name. And I said, yes. And he burst out laughing. He said, "Oh my God, you're one in a million. Amazing. How are you? What the hell are you doing?" And so I said, what the hell am I doing? Well, and I chattered on. And he said, "Oh God, listen, I gotta go. I gotta go. But you're crazy. You're crazy, and I love you." He got in a car that had pulled up for him, and he waved. And I, you know, in that way that I have now, I waved back, and the car went around the corner. And as it disappeared, and I turned, and I'm waving, and I'm waving, and I wave, I can see me in the picture window of the store. And I've turned so I can see not the front of me, but I can see myself kind of in 1/4 profile, most of the back of me. Yeah. And all of the back of my skirt was tucked up into my pantyhose from the changing room. All of the back of my skirt had been all the way down the escalator, all the way across the lobby floor of the store. And everybody was trying to stop me. And out on the street in front of that man who can see it, because I'm looking at him, but he can see me in the mirror. And he's saying, "You're crazy. You're one of them. I can't believe you. I can't believe you. What are you doing?" And I didn't know what he meant. I thought he was just saying that I was miraculous and lovely, and he would go to his grave thanking the gods that he knew me. And no. And so I'm standing there and I see it all, and there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. It's too late to do anything of any significance. I pulled my skirt out of my pantyhose so it didn't continue. And then I just stood there thinking, I wonder if a raging disease will take me, or I have to have this memory now and share it for the rest of my life. As it turns out, no raging disease. When I told my friend, and she said, "So so have you seen it from the back?" is going to be our code phrase when we are overwhelmed or blindsided by something. And periodically we say it to each other, and we both laugh hysterically because it anchors us and it re-anchors us. So here's the trick. Here's the question. Here's the hack, because I've given you all the context. I do. Well, thank you, Freddie. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Bailey. So how do you know who that person is? How do you identify who that person is who always has that knack, no matter what, of making us laugh? How do you go get that? How do you go get that memory, get in touch so that we can experience it again? I will tell you. Here's the question. I just wrote it down before. Before I tell you the how, I'm going to tell you the why. I'm going to tell you ingredients. Why that person? Why that person? Because they take the time to listen to you. You matter enough to them that they put everything else very briefly on pause. They give you their full attention, 100%, for however long, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 minutes, 3 hours, whatever it is, for whatever their reason might be. They see in you something precious, something worthy, something that completes them, that elevates them, that fills them with happy, with feel good, with connection. And that is what motivates them to reach out to you, to reach out to us. We enrich their lives. They know it, they feel it. And out of nowhere, the phone will ring, or we'll get a message or an email. And the start of the call, the start of the message, the start of the email is, I had to reach out because. Do you remember the time? But enough about me. What are you up to? What has happened is that their focus on what they're doing, their focus on getting one foot in front of the other, their focus in getting most of the glop onto the spoon, into the mouth without it landing all over our shirt. They have paused that because something about you popped into their head. Something they saw, something they smelled, something they touched, something they heard, something they just experienced was a bell. It resonated, and in the resonating, it was you. And it's a trigger that they want to feel it again. They want to give themselves an injection. They want to get another shot. They call you. They reach out just to say hi. The very reaching out, the very typing your name, the very punching in the number, the very act of leaving the voice text is them saying, I'm here for a refill. It's not that they are giving to you. It is that they are giving to them because you are the missing piece. You're making soup, you taste it, and you say it needs salt, needs pepper. They're not saying salt, pepper. They're saying needs Susan, needs Carol, needs Christine, needs Kelly, needs Nikki, needs Freddie, needs Charles, needs Warren. Just needs a dash of Warren. Put down the box cutter, Warren. It needs that, just a touch, just a soupçon to make it right. When they do that, suddenly we are with them. We can feel the outreach. We can feel the resonance. We may not be aware that we can feel it, but there is a small rush of happy. There is a small rush of this. Later on, when we learn they were thinking about it, you think, there it is. There it is. Little molecules going bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. And then all of a sudden, the last one, us right there, went, and you think, oh, what's this? I feel really quite wonderful. It's that. So how do we do it? How do we teach ourselves to do it? And I'm going to show you. You see a name. You see a name in a news feed. You see my husband, that's why I'm with him. My firstborn son is just like him. Laughter is the best. Yes, Nikki. Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Bill. So what we are looking for, periodically I get your comments. You know, yesterday when I had all your lovely comments and we were chit-chatting back and forth and I saw things, people saying, oh my God, you're right on target. When it was over, I had, I think 17 comments, but when I checked, I had 151 people watching. Of 151 people, there were 5 or 6 of you who actually commented back and forth. So that's 10%, right? It's is it 10%, 5%, whatever it is. It's a number that reminds us over and over again. Usually, when you do a marketing campaign, you're aiming at 100 people. You're very, very fortunate. You're very successful if you get 10 people. You're doing really well. It's not so much luck or fortune when you get 5. That's your technique. That's what they heard. Typically, though, it's 1%. If you reach 10, you'll sell 1. So if you sell 3 or 5 or 10, wow, that's huge, even if it's only 3 or 5 or 10. So when you see names, when you see situations, when you see place locations, you see the word pop up and it rings a bell. Count to 5. Rings a bell. Look at the word. Look at the image. Count to 5 while you look at the image. The reason I'm asking you to count to 5 while you look at the image is 5 seconds, 5 beats is all the time it takes for that memory to be given permission to reemerge full. So you can count the numbers, or you can just, nod your head. But what you're looking at is the name. What you're looking at is the picture of the city. What you're looking at, and when you count it down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, a memory will pop up. And when it does, give yourself another 5 seconds to love it, to live it, to just give into it. And the next thing I want you to do is the 5-finger breathing exercise. 30 seconds. Okay? 30 seconds. Trace while you're thinking about the moment, while you're thinking about the madness. Visualize it. You can close your eyes. You don't need to keep your eyes open to know where your fingers are. Picture the moment. Picture what I said, they said. Picture what caused that, right? Do it clearly. Enjoy it while you're allowing yourself to calm every other conflicting memory, thought, toxicity, urgency. And when you're done, open your eyes again and look at the name. Look at the location. Look at the event. What you have gifted yourself is a deep embedding of a celebration of your relationship, not merely to the person, but to the magic that happens when the two of you connect, when the two of you are eye to eye, ear to ear, nose to nose, fingers to fingers. It's rare and it's beautiful. And it only happens when we are both bringing it at the same time. When we're bringing it at the same time and it connects, it's like zert, and everything else for the rest of the day is shaded and shaped by that moment. Maximum 45 seconds. Maybe on the outside a minute. 60 seconds out of a day. Everyone has 60 seconds out of a day. So who is it who always makes you laugh? Who is it who always connects you and your inner child? So when that happens, you realize there's 4 things. So there's thee and me and our inner children. 4 connections going on at the same time for a minute. And a minute changes everything. So who is it? How did it happen? Think about it. Cherish it. Allow yourself to have the reaction. And then give yourself 30 seconds to anchor it. If you have a couple more seconds, send a message to them. Thinking of you and our moment. Have a day. That's it. Why do we do that? Why do we do this? I want to wrap it up. Why do we do this? Because we are dealing with too many hats. We are dealing with so much input on so many levels that it's disorienting. It's overwhelming waves of white noise. And we have a very difficult time filtering it. We have a very difficult time blocking it out. We're putting plugs in our ears that play music to drown out the externals. We are putting plugs in our ears to drown out all the sounds, including the ones that save us. We're doing that in order just to get back into us. We're using technology to do it. We don't need the technology to do it. Who is it who always makes you smile. What happened? What happened the first time? What happened the most recent time? What happens all the time? My conversation this morning with Carol, I told her something and we laughed. We laughed really hard twice. Best tonic ever. No side effects except joy. So it is now Thursday, and I have promised to tell you that by the 20th, which is tomorrow, I'm going to reveal what I'm up to. So I'm going to give you a sneak preview. People here, we get a sneak preview. So as I've been saying, this year is my 20th anniversary as a publisher. It surprises people, not that, oh my God, you can read and write, not that, but that I have then turned it into something. I've turned it into a business. Because all communication, all entertainment, all connection comes to us and with us on many platforms. And I publish on many platforms. What I'm doing by being a publisher is I'm taking ownership of the process of taking it out of here, and putting it someplace where everyone can see it and enjoy it and invest in it. That's what a publisher does. So to celebrate, I am doing the same process with the joy that people experience, the craving they feed when they go to a nostalgia-focused event. When people go to these comic cons, these fan conventions, when they get together and talk to people, when they get together as gamers, when they get together as cosplayers, when they get together as artists, rendering visuals of cherished entertainments and characters and storylines that we will never forget because they changed us. Every single one of those people is stepping out of their daily grind to go to the event, to be present in that moment together, to create what I have just described. You know what is a fascinating thing when you go to these fan events? Nobody is on their phone. Nobody is walking around mindlessly scrolling. You know what they're using their phone for? They're using their phone to tell somebody which booth they're at to be able to meet, and they're using it to take pictures. That's it. They are fully present in ways that no one really is fully present anymore. I went out to dinner the other night with somebody I'm very fond of, very close. And we talked and talked and talked and talked. And I said, kind of cool that either one of us has our phone out. And he said, why would I have my phone out when I'm with you? And I said, well, thank you. And he said, no, seriously, I'd be like, really? We don't get together that often. I can use my phone anytime. And by the way, if somebody messages it, it's right there. But I don't need to have it in front of me. I don't need to insult you. You're the reason I'm here. You're the reason I parked the car, found parking, parked the car, came in the rain. Here we are. And I said, thank you. So people aren't doing that anymore. They are doing it at these fan events because these events are bringing people back to the last place God made. They're bringing people back to the place they felt safe and validated and engaged and loving every minute of it. That's what these events do. So what I am doing for this event in Ottawa on the 20th of July, so effectively a month tomorrow, I am transforming my booth into a collectible souvenir book photo shoot. I'm publishing, I think it's probably going to be 2 volumes. I am publishing proof that we were and are in this together. Now, everybody who comes to my booth gets all involved. I get them all wound up. We're wearing feather boas. We're autographing things with each other. I have at least 3 paparazzi taking pictures and saying, oh, darling, lean this way. And closer, closer, chin up. That's it. Work it, work it. It's a great time. I pull everybody out of their ho-hum and into ha-ha. This time, I'm doing it with an end in mind, an end beyond. Was that fun? Are you coming next time? This time, what everybody is doing when they come into the booth is they are with me together. We are investing in a tangible, collectible memory of our moment, celebrating our moment. And I talked to Lance and I said, I've got this plan. I'm going to tell you on the 20th exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and what I need you to do with me to make it work. And oh, by the way, Lance, back cover of the book is going to be you and your volunteers because it's your book. It's the 5th anniversary of Fanaticon. So it's your anniversary and mine, and it's everybody's anniversary. And what we're doing. So every page in the book is going to have, except for the beginning part that's the here I am and who you are, there's going to be 5 picture boxes on the page. And every single one of them is going to be the photograph that we take on the day and your definition. You're going to give me your definition. What is it like to be unforgettable? How does it feel? What does it mean? You're going to tell me. We're going to write it down. Your face, your definition, your name with me on that day. Maybe I'll be in the picture with you if you want. Who knows? The point is this. We deserve this. We deserve to say, this is me. This was all of us. So on every page, how it's going to work, the center picture is going to be whoever the celebrities are. Because I don't know how many he's got this year, but he's got a really good chunk of celebrities. So the center picture is going to be the famous person, right? And then from the top left, fans, top right, who is going to be next? The people who are making the event colorful. So it's going to be our cosplayers. It's going to be our contributors. It's going to be our artists. It's going to be our engagers. It's going to be our gamers, right? The bottom left is going to be the nuts and bolts, the way it works. It's going to be the vendors. It's going to be the sponsors. It's going to be all the people we get that lend to it, the location, the rental. And then in the fourth, in the far right at the very bottom, because the last thing you see is the first thing you remember, is the people who made it happen. The person who put it all on the line and said, I'm having a party. I'm celebrating what matters to me, and you're invited. I'm going to call this event this, and we're going to do it every year. The person who consciously, repeatedly, deliberately chooses to take on the task of organizing fireflies that have ADHD to get them all there in order to have this memorable moment. And with them in that lower corner, they're volunteers. We're going to do it alphabetically. So every page you open, you know your name begins with A, or it begins with L, or it begins with Z. What you're going to do is you're going to look. You're going to find the number. You're going to find the letter. You're going to say, there we are. Oh my gosh, I'm on the same page with so-and-so. Look, I'm on the page. Look who the celebrity is. Look who the cosplayer is. Oh my God. Oh my God. And that's the guy we saw doing such and such. That's the jug with the transformer outside. Oh my God. You're not alone. You're not the only person. You're not the only person who said, I matter. I matter so much. I'm not comfortable outside in the outside world. Doesn't matter. On this day, I'm gifting me a moment. I'm going to put on whatever I need to put on. Pants first. Does it include pants? Yes. It always involves pants. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to prioritize it. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be part of that. I'm going to contribute to the numbers of people who came, who built it, who invested in it, who breathed life into it. Because it matters to me. And it matters also to me that I am part of this. I'm going to do this. And that you do, that you have done, that you do, that you continue to do on my 20th anniversary, I'm going to celebrate you. That's what I'm going to do. When I went to my first fan con, I discovered for the first time that I'm a collectible. I'm basically a 5'7" Lego, really. I didn't know. People calling me by a different name and hugging me and coming over and having these moments like I'm having right now with, oh my God, I can't believe this is so magical. I suddenly feel like I'm 12 years old again. I experienced that for the first time. And I am forever grateful. To me, what do I think unforgettable is? Us. We are the unforgettables. We give us the reason to be glad we came. We encourage us, promote us, celebrate us so thoroughly, so deeply, so beautifully that it is immediately on our top of our list agenda to come again and bring our friends and celebrate. When we have this moment together, it's unforgettable. And how it's going to work, I've got a couple of streeters who are relentless, and I have flyers. I'm going to hand them out. What everybody's going to do when they come, we have people signing up. We have ways to keep track of it all. And what we're going to do is when you come, in order that we keep track of it, in order that we make sure that we've got you listed among us, we're just going to charge you for the book. We're going to get you to pre-order your book. We're not going to charge you for doing it. Obviously not. We want you to pre-order your book. Because when we have the book launch in November, I will know how many books to order. We'll get that done now, because now when I have you in the booth is when I can ask you. Once you are dispersed to the wind, it's a nightmare trying to get back to you and say how many books, right? So, and the beautiful thing, of course, is that when I produce a book, when I publish books, I'm able to get them at the publisher's discount, which is obviously what you'll get. And so if you want one for you, that's great. And if you want one for a couple for your friends or your family, you'll tell me, I'll get 3, and you'll pay me then. You'll get your receipt. We will photograph you. We will have your quote. We will have your contact information. You will be surrounded and covered all over with hugs and feather boa feathers. And I am assured by somebody who does this kind of thing all the time that I can get 100 people processed an hour. So I told all my photographers, okay, get a good night's sleep the night before. This is going to be a great, crazy marathon. But it's not a sit down for the yearbook kind of thing. Those of you who have been to my booth, you know what it's like. It's like going to the circus. It's magical. So I'm doing that here, and I already have an outreach from a huge organization down in the States that wants me to figure out how to do it with them. So that's 2. Very exciting. So we are the unforgettables. All we need is your face and your quote and your name in the book. And now we are in bookstores. We are on Amazon. We are seen worldwide as the people who love the moment when we are with someone who makes us laugh all the time because they get us. And they are very, very good friends with our inner child. How about that for awesome? Isn't that amazing? I'm so excited. I can't stand it. Lance hasn't even heard all of these details. I'm telling him tomorrow. I'm going to send him a whole list. All right. So if you're FanaticCon oriented and you're looking for updates and you start to see all this stuff, that's Lance doing his magic. Okay. So in the meantime, here it is, almost 11. Wow. Almost 11. I want to remind you that how we make each other feel more like ourselves is simply by showing up for each other. And it starts by showing up for ourselves first. So be good to you. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones because, oh my gosh, they deserve it too. I can't thank you enough ever for what you're doing with me, for me in this process. All I can say is I'm forever grateful. And I will catch you next time. Thank you.